We've got a special segment for you guys today. We've got someone on the phone that's going to help you in ways that we could never possibly help you.
Massages?
No, not massages. Christine Wilton's on the phone. She is an attorney at law. I believe bankruptcy is one of her specialties. She's going to help us with a couple of questions that our listeners have. What are my non-bankruptcy options with my home, and what happens to my house in bankruptcy? We've had these questions before. There's no way any of us could possibly answer it. So, Christine, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. Help us with these crazy bankruptcy. First, tell us what you do, and then help us with these questions so that we know you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Well, I am your local consumer bankruptcy attorney, and I work only with consumers, helping them through the process and opening the door to financial freedom from their debt, whether that's mortgages or unsecured debt, whatever they're facing, I'm here to help.
Wow, that was great. You know, we recorded that, so if you need it, we can get it back to you, and you can use it on commercials. That was awesome.
Well, awesome. Later on today, when I'm at Lapa Lapa, I'll give you guys a call.
Wow.
If you're there, look for Kevin Kelly. He'll be the one that's dancing naked on the table.
Or huddled under the table.
Or under the table.
Depending on what time of the morning you show up.
Oh, my God. Christine, there's so many questions people have about the bankruptcy option when it comes to being underwater in their home.
So much misinformation.
Yeah, it's misinformation. Can you help us clear this up a little bit?
Well, sure. I'll do the best I can. The first thing that we can look at is what the laws are that are available. We have non-bankruptcy options. One of the best ways to walk away from a mortgage right now is a short sale. It does a lot of things, helping the owner get, they can buy property again sooner. Then there's Senate Bill 458, which came into effect last year, July 15th. That expands the protection for homeowners against any personal liability after a short sale. Personal liability is when, you're responsible for any deficiency, so you owe more than the house is worth. You guys just talked about the short sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, what it does is it protects them from having to owe any debt after they walk away from that mortgage. And I just read, Scott, the other day that it protects the first and junior liens.
Okay,
so
that's
really
that's part of what the new law is. They rolled the second liens in, right?
Yes, it's a great option where we were talking about that yesterday, where there's only a mortgage debt and they don't have any other debts, no tax debts, no unsecured credit card debt, and it's just the mortgage they're working with. They're looking to walk away because they're having some financial hardship. A short sale really is the best option. You help the lender get a buyer on the table, and because we also have the other laws that are in place now is the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act of 2007, where the IRS and the Franchise Tax Board here in California are forgiving debt that has been discharged through a short sale where it's your primary residence. Now, it doesn't work when you have secondary residence, income property, or things like that. Only if you live there, only if the mortgage is the only debt you're dealing with, and you do it before the end of 2012, you've got yourself a good deal.
Why just the end of 2012?
The IRS, there's an expiration date. It's due to expire at the end of this tax year, the IRS and the Franchise Tax Board. Now, let me give you my caveat, my legal disclaimer. I do not give tax advice. I would refer your listeners to a reputable tax preparer, CPA, or accountant to properly prepare their income taxes when they receive those 1099s after short sale.
And what's that called? That's the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness?
Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act and Debt Cancellation Act of 2007.
Right.
And they can look that up on the IRS website or the Franchise Tax Board. Basically, the California law conforms with the federal law.
Now, Christine, one of the reasons why we came up with this question is because if you don't have consumer debt and you think you're going to do a short sale on your home, we see a lot of confusion based on questions that come into our website that some people think that they have to file bankruptcy because that in some way deals with their property. But you're saying that these laws that are in existence essentially provide the homeowner with the exact same protection as bankruptcy would, so they don't have to go through the short sale and do bankruptcy. It's not gonna give them any additional protection.
No, if it's executed properly. Now, let me give you a key practice tip too.
Nugget.
regardless of the laws that are in place now, it's really prudent for these borrowers to obtain written and signed agreement releasing them from any and all liability for the mortgage loans, and then report to the credit bureaus what I would quote, no deficiency balance. So these short sale contracts, they should have them reviewed by an attorney or hire an attorney to facilitate a short sale for them so that they, have the contract language in place. Then when they get that 1099, they need to go see a reputable CPA or accountant tax preparer that knows the proper forms to fill out. Because if it's done properly, then they won't need a bankruptcy. The people that I'm seeing are those that have gone through a foreclosure rather than a short sale, because a foreclosure does not do the same thing that a short sale does in terms of the junior mortgages. And if it's not executed properly, they may be liable and they may need to file bankruptcy especially when there's a second mortgage involved.
Well, we've encountered when people are trying to buy again after a short sale,
yes.
And this is really important. What you just said about having the proper agreements and the proper contracts from the seller,
yes.
or from the lender, because we've run into situations where 1 out of the 3 credit bureaus reports it as a foreclosure or gives it the wrong code on the credit report, so it shows up as a collection or a charge-off as opposed to a short sale or a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and that's preventing people from buying again in 2 years. And so they get the contract, send it to the credit bureaus, have it reported correctly, and now they can buy again.
Absolutely.
We
correct,
just ran into that yesterday, where the other lender that this guy was working with declined him because one bureau reported it incorrectly, and we told them how to get through it, and then the lender fixed it and then tried to charge him thousands of dollars more than they should have, and so now they're working with us. Yeah.
Hey, I need to call a coach's timeout here, Christine.
Sure.
One of the things that I think I heard you say was that there are possibly short sale contracts that are written incorrectly, and in doing so, the person who wrote the short sale contract for the consumer put them at risk. Is that what I heard you say? That they may not be able to get the protection on the short sale because the contract was written incorrectly?
Well, you have to understand that the lenders are writing the contract, so they're going to construe it in their favor. They're going to sneak in all kinds of language and try to hold the consumer on the hook for any and all liabilities they possibly can. Think about the volume of business that they're receiving now on a foreclosure and short sale basis. They're leaking they're leaking revenue like crazy right now. So they're working to secure as much as they possibly can. It's not construed in the favor of the consumer, and if the consumer doesn't read it correctly, the realtor cannot give legal advice. They're unknowingly sometimes signing away and holding themselves responsible because no one's reviewing that and looking out for them.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that in 2008, early 2008, and some of the big banks that Frank loves so much were sending out boilerplate short sale letters that essentially says we reserve the right at any time to come back and sue your butt for our losses.
Yeah, that's right.
But the protections weren't there at that point in time. So
the banks have changed they're not. Once people figured out that started happening, then they kind of changed those boilerplate
a law came into
agreements.
Well, Christine, you said that there were 2 different, you mentioned them, and sorry I don't remember what they are because I'm just a layman here. These guys are supposed to know those things. But you said there was 2 things that helped protect consumers in a short sale, but there's a chance that those protections, they may lose those protections if the contract verbiage isn't correct, and some real estate agents may not be able to catch that?
Well, whether they catch it or not, they can't give legal advice, which means that they can't explain to the consumer what it is that the contract says.
Really?
They can only present the contract to the consumer and say, read it, you may want to have an attorney review it, and, whether or not you enter into it. They're treading into the area of practicing law without a license when they explain the contract and whether or not the consumer should sign it.
I'm thinking it might be happening. Who are these realtors putting themselves at risk?
Sure.
Yeah.
What kind of risk are these realtors putting themselves in when they when they. I know I'm so scared right now.
No, this is well known in the real estate
not so well known. Not so well known.
I've been to real estate offices that brought in attorneys that specifically said this was a real big concern in 2008 because real estate agents were giving these things. Now, what happens is if the bank comes after the consumer can now say, well, my real estate agent told me it was okay to sign this.
Ooh.
And now they can bring the real estate agent in and their license is in jeopardy now.
Christine, what about...
I've seen it.
Right,
where
Frank? Frank looks like he's got something to say.
I was going to say, that's why I'm sticking with foreclosures.
Yeah, that's why Frank says I'm not
all this
doing
stuff is already done.
The problem is they're still liable for the debt when they've signed that agreement.
Yep.
They only have now a cause of action against...
and that's what
do you have any
understand.
idea what the statute of limitations is on something like that?
Well, that's a great question, Scott. Probably for another day. I'm guessing.
She's
I could
pining
guess
for another
on the
segment
statute
here.
of limitations. It's limited.
Okay.
Christine?
Yes.
What about the people who are representing themselves as short sale specialists?
They have a full for clients.
Did she just say
She
run?
said run.
She said run.
Oh my God, I'm so scared right now. Christine, on the average, what would it cost a buyer to have an attorney review a contract before they signed it?
There's no cost to you mean the buyers or the sellers? The buyers are fine because as long as they're bona fide purchasers.
It's the agent that wants to.
You're looking at the sellers doing a short sale.
Yeah.
Sure, there's no cost to them in a short sale transaction. It would be built into the commission structure.
Oh my God!
To pay the realtor and the attorney could probably get a point on the closing documents, and the lender pays for all of that. So consumers are welcome to hire attorneys. There's no cost out of their pocket to do this on a short sale.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it. As long as they're looking,
and what kind of attorney what kind of attorney should they approach?
Short sale, an attorney that will handle short sale transactions.
Would that be you?
No, I don't specifically handle short sale transactions outside of bankruptcy.
She's like, that's certainly what
I see in my lane.
Somebody.
I mean, but that's not what attorneys represent themselves as. Short sale attorneys, right? They're like bankruptcy attorneys, credit attorneys, civil attorneys.
There are attorney law firms that will handle short sale transactions on behalf of consumers.
Are they typically civil law firms?
Real estate. They'll practice in real estate.
Okay, so a real estate attorney might be a good idea for buyers and sellers of short sales.
I think that's one of the best protection measures that anyone in a short sale transaction can take.
Well,
unless they've gone through the bankruptcy process already, because then there is no consequences on a deficiency. Any debt that's discharged in the bankruptcy context, if they've come through bankruptcy and then they decide they want to short sell later, there are no consequences to them because that debt's already been discharged in the bankruptcy case. So that's the beauty of having gone through a bankruptcy first and then later on saying, I can't afford it, I think I want to walk away, because the debt's already been discharged.
Well, Christine, how about the other way around? How about if you just figure you're protected under these laws, but the contract was messed up and the lender tries to come after you for a deficiency, can you then file bankruptcy and get that protection?
I would recommend it, absolutely. Yes, you can discharge that debt because what happens is it becomes unsecured debt, and that could be discharged.
Bam.
The second lien becomes unsecured debt after a short sale or foreclosure.
Correct.
Right.
Wow. You got anything else for us, Christine? Because so far you've educated us and scared the crap out of the realtors that listen to the show. Both of them, by the way.
Well, I think what's important is people have to understand there's life after all of this.
Yes.
There is life after all of this. Depending upon what your long-term goals are, it's important to work with reputable professionals that are going to steer you in the right direction. There's so much marketing that goes on to people saying that they specialize in all of this. Run a background check on these people. Check to make sure that they're licensed and they're not going to transfer title out of your name and then try to file some bankruptcy and hijack someone else's case, or you pay them $500 a month for 12 months, they'll keep you in your house longer.
I just ran into this.
Oh my God.
It happens all the time.
A real estate agent transferred title from the buyer to their name.
You're fired.
Yeah, no, it's too late for that.
Don't vote him off the island. He's a good one. We got to keep him around.
Oh my God. Who are you talking about, Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the one that's his friend. He has one friend on Facebook. It must be you.
It is.
Hey, Christine, we appreciate it. Can we get you back for another segment at some point?
My pleasure. Absolutely. Don't hesitate to call on me. I'm here to try to tell the truth.
And scare us.
You want to
Keeping
give
it
out
real.
You want to give out some contact information for people who are thinking or have questions about bankruptcy in regards to their home?
Best place to look for information that I put out on the internet is through my blog at the Los Angeles BankruptcyLawMonitor.com.
That's long.
Find me on Facebook at Attorney Christine.
That's
go.
it.
There you
Attorney Christine.
And also, Christine, don't you offer a phone consultation to people that want to know what their options are?
Complimentary consultations, toll-free hotline, 877-631-2220.
And I know that there's about 400 real estate agents in Long Beach that are going to be calling you now.
I give talks at realtor offices as well. I've given presentations with regards to short sales and bankruptcy and what the realtors need to look out for.
Here's my advice. Give more.
Absolutely.
Trust me, they need that help. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Christine.
Christine Wilton,
so much.
we appreciate it. You take care.
All right, I'm off to Lapa Lapa. Have a great day.
Atta girl. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's a lunch and learn speaker right there.
Oh, my God, dude.
I told you she was awesome.
Is that that's the
Well,
one
see,
that
here's where we need to have her back because she also we had a really good conversation. I had like a 30-minute interview with her.
This is who I met at the opening, right?
Yeah, she has some really good information about. She says that a lot of the banks now that starting the foreclosure process will actually initiate a short sale or deed in lieu conversations by the lender, and she's seeing that more and more often.
Good.
So she's got lots of good nuggets.
She just grabbed the title of Grim Reaper away from Frank.
Well, she doesn't have to show up to their door, so I'm still the Reaper.
That's true.
You should
Frank's still the
probably show
Reaper.
up in, like a black cloak
And with that, we have come to the end of yet another show, and it was educational and frightening at the same time. For those of you in the real estate industry who hold yourself up as a short sale specialist,
Run and hide.
Christine, the attorneys are saying run and hide.
Get new
Just
cards printed.
run and hide. It's like
Just
Andy
put
Garcia
on there, I took
from
a course.
Ocean 13. All right, we got 10 seconds. I want to say thanks to Frank Casares, Ario Frank.
Thank you.
Elisa Alvarez, the mortgage mistress, and the dean of Homeownership University, Scott Shang. I am the real estate coach. We are out.